You are an expert at the budget, at the numbers, especially when it comes to education. Tell our folk what's at stake.
Well, I think we're making this budget thing a little too complicated. It's pretty simple. They want to give massive tax cuts basically to the wealthy, the top 1% and corporations, massive tax cuts. They're going to pay for it by going after programs, and they haven't defined them specifically, but the outline lets you know that they're going after health care, Medicaid, Affordable Care Act, education, access to college, access to education, and nutrition programs, SNAP, school lunches, things like that. And at the end of the day, they're going to increase the deficit. Now, we saw the president up here get a standing ovation when he came out for a balanced budget. Just a couple of days ago, he endorsed this budget that increases the deficit. Yes. Now, let's get a little historical perspective. Every Democratic president since Kennedy has left for the Republican successors a better deficit than they inherited. Everyone, without exception. Every Republican since Nixon has left for the Democratic successors a worse deficit, without exception. And we sit up and listen to all these pious speeches as if they're doing something. President says balanced budget, gets a standing ovation, and then they endorse a budget, massive tax cuts to the wealthy, cut health care, education, and nutrition programs, and end up with a worse deficit than they started with. If they'd just gone home, they'd have a better budget in terms of balancing. Now, I don't know, how to message that. Young people got to talk to themselves. Maybe if one of them can figure out what's going on, they can tell the rest. I'm old. But, when you got tax cuts to the wealth, unless you're making about $700,000 a year, you're not going to get much out of this. But you will lose health care, nutrition programs, access to education, and you're going to end up with the worst deficit that the younger people are going to end up one day paying. We can talk about how complicated this thing is. It doesn't seem that complicated to me. I'm against it. Now, we need 3 Republicans. People can get all worked up and get the Democrats all. Democrats are solid. We cast all 215 votes we had. Well, one was sick, didn't show up. We had 214 votes. We got 1 Republican, 215. They had 217. If we'd gotten 1 more Republican, it would have died on the tie. At most, we need 3 Republicans to join us. So if you're going to get people worked up, find 3 Republicans. Now, you got to find people who are going to protest in a way that will suggest to a Republican that his seat is in jeopardy.
Yep.
A bunch of Democrats yelling at him, they'd look at that and say, well, I beat you last time, I'll beat you this time. Find some others to join in and make it look like this seat is in jeopardy.
And they're about 15 and 20 that
Harris said Stefanski, that's a problem for them. Stefanski seat,
and you got plenty of Republicans in seats that Democrats carried in the last presidential election. Mm-hmm. Go and organize in them.
There you go.
And protest in those districts.
Yep.
And we've got about 20 targets. We need 3.
So here's what we're gonna do. So what we'll do is, you don't gotta give it to us right now.
We're
gonna get the list. So we're gonna have the list, and so we're gonna tell y'all on tomorrow's show who those 20 are, because the whole point is to stop those particular cuts.
But we begin tonight with the people who are really running the country right now. Now, Trump is often wrong and misleading about a lot of things, but especially about history. Donald Trump falling in line with President Elon Musk.
In the wake of the unsettling news that MSNBC has canceled Joy Ann Reid's primetime show, The Readout, Roland Martin and the Black Star Network would like to extend an invitation to all of the fans of Joy Ann Reid's MSNBC show to join us every night to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming on the Black Star Network for news, discussion of the issues that matter to you, and the latest updates on the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief Donald Trump and his unprecedented assault on democracy, as well as co-president Elon Musk's takeover of the federal government. The Black Star Network stands with Joy Ann Reid and all folks who understand the power of black voices in media. We must come together and never forget that information is power. Be sure to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered weeknights, 6 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/Roland S. Martin or download the Black Star Network app. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You heard what we just talked about there. Folks, I can't reiterate this enough. Listen to me clearly. I cannot reiterate this enough. When you've got technology companies running scared, when you've got legacy media not doing their job, when you've got black-owned media that is disintegrated, now is more than ever for us to have independent media that cares about the truth, that is willing to say what needs to be said. So when you support Roland Martin Unfiltered, this show, when you support the Black Star Network, you're not just supporting me, you're supporting the other shows. Our goal is to add 2 more shows this year. We want additional shows. We want more weekly and daily shows because we want to be able to speak truth to power. We want to be able to say what is necessary where other people are scared. And when you are scared, when you're looking over your shoulder, oh my God, that advertising contract is not going to come in. Well, guess what? A lot of these major ad agencies, they're not even supporting us anyway. You know, in 6 years of doing this show, Group M hasn't done a damn thing with us. Publicis hasn't done anything with us. You've got Horizon, you've got all of these folks, they haven't done jack. And so we are calling it like we see it, and we're speaking truth. And unlike some of these other so-called progressives and people who believe in truth, I'm not running around trying to kiss MAGA ass and kiss Trump's ass. I won't be going to Mar-a-Lago, not for a damn thing. And so this is about us being able to speak truth. So when you support this show and this network with your resources, that is exactly what is happening, because we are trying to build something that is bigger and broader, and actually it has the courage to say what needs to be said, even when it makes other folk uncomfortable. If you want to contribute giving Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. This is it right here. And if you are listening, simply go to blackstarnetwork.com to check it out. Also, if you want to see your checking money order, some of y'all old school, we understand that. See your checking money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And again, folks, we've got some 4 million social media followers. If only 20,000 of our fans contribute at least $50 each, which comes out to $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day, that's $1 million. It allows us to be able to continue to build, to add these shows and do the work that's required. So your support is needed. So please join our Bring the Funk fan club today if you've not already joined. If you have given to us in the past, please renew your commitment, because it's important that we support Black-owned media, because Black-owned media matters.